Hey, I'm Duke on Twitch. If you want to support the channel and greensunzenith.com, you can find my Patreon, merch store, and singles store where you can buy singles through TCG Player or Card Hoarder in the video description. If you want to get in contact, you can also find all that info in the description below for things like donation deck lists or just wanting to reach out. Alright, let's get right into it.
Hey team, welcome back to Dukes on Twitch. Back today with Abzan Mav. Here we have a version that's a little bit different to usual with main deck Thoughtseize, which I think... Yeah, it's always tough finding space for non-creature spells in Maverick, but I do like that Maverick, or that Thoughtseize, does a few things for Maverick. It allows us to really navigate how to open up in terms of which creatures are more valuable than others, if Wasteland is valuable or not, if we want to use it for mana rather than attacking our opponent's mana. It buys us time, which I think in this current format is really, really needed. And it's obviously 1 mana, so it can be just another turn 1 play, which is really nice. It does make us go for the Bayou probably more often than if you don't play Thoughtseize, which can be a little bit tough against the Blood Moon or Wasteland decks. But in general, I just wanted a little bit more interaction in the main deck. And I think Thoughtseize is a nice way to, maybe trade with a big threat, maybe trade with sort of the game plan, if it's Show and Tell or Doomsday. And isn't too impacted by our deck. Obviously, Thalia, the more non-creature spells you cast or have in your deck, the higher they're going to cast. But yeah, I think Thoughtseize is a nice fit. I took out Once Upon a Time for this and the 4th Endurance because I wanted to have a lot more against Ouphe in the main deck. But yeah, hopefully Thoughtseize does okay. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I like it in a version with Sheltered by Ghosts and Ooze because of the incremental life gain. Without it, it can be a little bit tough against decks like Delver, which can definitely take advantage of you losing 2 additional life. So we'll see that. You can see the board as well is very heavy on combo as well. Deafening Silence, Leyline, Force of Vigor. I nearly wanted to find a 3rd Force of Vigor spot, but it was a little bit hard. You might have also noticed Collector Ouphe is in the board and Gaddock Teeg is in the main deck, which I think is just a bit of a meta call. Against the Khan Forge decks, you actually probably want Teeg in play instead of Ouphe because of Kozilek's command. And Teeg still turns off everything from the One Ring to Khan, which is pretty great. So Teeg also good against the combo Elves decks, which is nice. Obviously hitting their Green Sun Zenith and Natural Orders, which are typically better than yours. It does interact with Ouphe by hitting Dread Return, which is nice. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how many spots come up today where we wanted Ouphe in the main deck over Teeg or where Teeg is actually better. I also dropped the Ramanap to make more space for the Endurances. And I think because of how fast the format is, Renegade Rallier is just good enough. So big shout out to Harry, who I believe was on this card, pretty early on. Based off the just tempo of getting the thing into play is really nice. And then with our Curator, just having the life gain for Ooze, I think is nice, and especially in a Thoughtseize version. So we'll see how this unfolds. Hopefully pretty well. One card I've been having a lot of issues with is Stock Up. That card is a lot of value and really hard to interact with. Like Thalia can make it more expensive. It's just crazy that Show and Tell now has like so many 2 and blue spells that you really care about. And sometimes I'm more scared of seeing Stock Up than Show and Tell itself. Gameplay. Up against a Yorion deck. This could be... Funnily enough, I played against Yorion Ouphe spells, which was really tough. But is that the case? Hey, Punishing Waterfalls, too kind. Hope you're doing well. I think this hand just has not enough. Like, I really want a turn 1 play, and this hand just doesn't have a turn 1 play. And if it is D&T, it's not the greatest hand, but I'm pretty happy to pull away from that. Well, this isn't too great either, especially with the green source being summoning sick. Okay. Happy to keep this and then probably bottom the Knight and the Cradle. And then I would like to open on Thoughtseize to see what they have. Opponent's also gone to 5 cards. Matt, how did you go? What did you play? Hope you're doing well. Hope the family's well. Thanks, Boybrush. Awful? Hey, that's part of it. It's part of Magic. I've seen you many a times share some pretty great challenge and Premier Legacy event results that I think if anyone watches this, especially on YouTube, definitely go check out Punishing Waterfalls on Twitch. Interesting. Okay. I don't care about the Thalia. The Vial is not the biggest impact. I kind of want to take the Overlord just because of how much value this is. And this game is going long, so. We do have answers to the Vial as well. Here we can just go Lush Portico. So they're going to be the white-black version. I would assume they still cast the Thalia here. Okay. And now it's just Yorion that we know about. Go for Lush. Grist is pretty good. We'll put that on top. And then I think we just play the Knight here because we can go after both mana and Thalia if needed. And then we do also have Dryad Arbor off the Windswept Heath, which is kind of nice. Pride. Interesting. Okay. I think in this spot we do just want to get the Dryad Arbor out of the deck. Ooh, Green Suns. Okay. So Green Suns would cost 4 potentially. I kind of want to get rid of the Vial just with a Outland Liberator. Just because of it allows them to obviously interact on all turns. I'm pretty happy to start with getting rid of the Lush. Get the Karakas. It is a little bit awkward because they can like put the Thalia back into play. What else do we have for green? Rallier. I think that's fine. I think I want to tap like this and hold up the Dryad Arbor so they don't have a great... Oh, it's got First Strike. In that case, I think we just hold up the Ignobled. That's fine. There's the Liberator. I think I just want to deal with the Vial here and now. I could keep the attack off of the Opulent Pride, but... yeah. I don't want them to untap and have like 3-drop into 3-drop. Just trying to hit their resources as much as possible. We can 6 here as well. But we have 3 mana for the Grist, plus also Karakas for the Thalia, which is nice. Yuri under hand. Does that mean they have a Solitude? They do. Okay. Take out the Knight. Another Green Suns. I think we'll hold that for potentially a Renegade Rallier. Especially if we hit something nice here. We hit a Savannah. Interesting. They don't attack with the First Strike Pride. Wonder why. I will Karakas this now, even though they'll probably just replay it. I do want to keep the Grist as high as possible. Endurance. That's pretty good as a blocker, of course. Happy to tick up here. Wasteland goes to the bin, and now we just have open Karakas and Endurance. This will probably be a shadowy backstreet. So in a pretty great position as long as the Grist keeps ticking up. Solitude is a nice out to it. But the Endurance as a body is just a 3/4 body is so good. They keep on top as well. Probably maybe like a Stoneforge or a Recruiter. Attack with the Thalia. Is there any reason for me to Endurance myself? I don't think so. I think I'm happy just to keep this. Any advice to a player who is stuck on 3-2 ratio on leagues? One thing that I should do more is watch my games back. You'll hear from a lot of really good players that watching your games back, even on a different day, you can really like open up to see a lot more of some of the reasoning as to why you might have lost a few games. And there's definitely times as well where I might even like watch one of my own streams and be like, did I really make that play? But yeah, I think watching your games is a big one. It's pretty good. That is a pretty good draw. We will tick up. Happy to attack with the Endurance. I could like Orcish and then attack with everything, but just in case they have like a... yeah. We can't watch the replays, that's true. You can get OBS for free and then just record your stream. Or record your screen. Yeah, I would say... honestly, there's a lot of challenging matchups. Show and Tell is a big one because just how we interact isn't as great as is. Like Deafening Silence does slow them down, but they don't need to be casting more than one non-creature spell a turn. Like a lot of the time it's Show and Tell them to Omniscience into big creature. There's a Guide of Souls. I think here we're just going to take out this Pride. like the sort of bug decks as well, a lot of 2-for-1s, especially with their removal. Like even a Witherbloom command can be pretty backbreaking, which is kind of unfortunate. Okay. I think at this stage I'm happy to get rid of a token, get rid of the soul, and then just start getting pretty aggressive with how we attack. I'm happy here to just hold up the swords. Yeah, unfortunately our opponent, like they had the Overlord, which we took with our Thoughtseize, but they just haven't really had that value that D&T typically has. Like no Stoneforge, no Recruiter lines. They did go to 5 as well, so again, happy to attack with everything. This could be a Solitude. Happy to see what they target, probably the Endurance, which is fine because we don't really care about it. It's kind of done its role in dealing with the Thalia. And then honestly, Grist ulti next turn is getting pretty close to allowing us to be lethal. Just for usage as well, we might as well get a Noble into play. Gives us another white source in case we need it. But yeah, I would say time with Maverick, which is a challenge in itself. It's a deck you probably don't want to stick around with for too long at the start. But you just kind of... you get to know the deck a little bit more. So we're up against D&T. So I like the Dismember. I like some of these, and I like some of these. Priest only really hits Vial, which we also have access to. So like Teeg and Thalia are pretty easy cuts. Endurance could also come down. I do like Thoughtseize because they're a deck that typically does replace their hand quite often, like Stoneforge, Recruiter, Yorion, etc. The Ooze, I don't mind, is just incremental life gain that can come up in creature matchups. I would say if you have access to a Cradle, it's so good, and it kind of allows the deck to have something just that little bit unfair. But I would say you could definitely play without it as well. But what I would do is I would note the card that you replace it with. So if it's like an extra fetch land, even do something like put the fetch land in the sleeve, like have like a promo version of it, or like put it like turn it upside down so you know what it is, and then just keep an eye on like when you draw that card, if it was a Cradle, how would it go? I don't think we need the Priests. I think this is pretty good. It could just be like one force and then the Ouphe. And that's a nice way to attack the Vial strategy. I guess they do have that big Overlord as well. Yeah, you're welcome. Like one thing I might do is like, say we have 4 Thoughtseize and then I want to try 3, then if I replace it with like, say, an Ignoble Hierarch, I'll get a different version of this Hierarch and then know that that is the version that is Thoughtseize. And then that's how I usually test out. A little bit awkward on mana against D&T, which is tough, but we're on the draw, and we have like turn 1 Thoughtseize. We have a Dismember for interaction, which gets cast off the Karakas. I'm not sure if that would have any legendary creatures post board, but a land off the top, like a fetch land off the top, is pretty nice. Having access to like dealing with turn 1 Mum is pretty great. Okay, we will start off with Thoughtseize. Okay, so we could take a land. That's pretty interesting. That could actually be annoying. The Flicker Wisp we don't really care about. The Solitude we don't really care about. I'm actually happy to go after their mana. They drew Wasteland. It's fine. It kind of puts us both back, which is nice. Another Endurance. I think here I'm okay to go after this now. A little bit awkward, but not the worst. A land on top would be great. Swords isn't too bad either, but what do I really need the swords for? Like I think it's just, obviously a land next turn would be great, but I think that swords is probably a card that I'm happy to put on top. Just to have that interaction on one. But like Endurance is kind of a removal spell for the Flicker Wisp, so I don't really care about the Flicker Wisp. But I probably care about something like a Mum or a Stoneforge, and knowing that they have the Solitude for the creature that gets sheltered, that can be pretty awkward to try to keep. Okay. I don't believe this affects us other than Grist. I guess it does affect creatures. That's pretty interesting. Happy to swords this. Just because we're down to 13 already. There is a world where I'd love to like wait for a land to just Endurance. Yeah, like that's pretty good. Okay. Sadly, mana here means we can't cast the Endurance, but we can get the Ouphe into play. Potentially in a version with Thoughtseize I would, but at 3 mana it's tough. And it's probably a big reason you don't really see like, is it Archon of Emeria in Maverick too much, is that you really want to have something like turn 1 or turn 2 against a lot of decks where you want that effect. And not being Green Sun Zenithable is pretty tough. But to be fair, in this version it can't be recruited. So we still know about Flicker Wisp and Solitude. Okay. That is very true. I could have waited on the on the removal spell just to get more information. Okay, so that one we can deal with Karakas, which is nice. And it's whenever it attacks. So beginning of combat. We can return this. Yeah, I think here we might be able to kill the Barragoyf potentially. So it is all graveyards. We have instant sorcery land. They have land creature. Is that an enchant? No, that's a land. Interesting. So we will fetch for a black source. Bayou. I mean, I wouldn't mind the extra. Land instant sorcery. Yeah, I think it's us. I really want them to use a Solitude so then we can potentially get the Sheltered by Ghosts online. That's fine. I'm happy to allow this. They got rid of Thalia. They could just go wide here. Okay. So land off the top would be nice so we could shelter and also hold up endurance. But yeah, a Torpor Orb effect in the board would be kind of nice. If I did expect more D&T. I don't think I played against D&T this year. Probably. It's been a while. Okay. Land. And then I think we just take out the Overlord. I guess we can fall. We're definitely casting this. I think it is just because the value it gets. And the Barragoyf we can kind of answer with the endurance. Yeah, Doorkeeper Thrall is pretty cool. Torpor Orb itself doesn't die to creature effects like Fatal Push, which is kind of nice. Out of something like Doomsday to have like creature-based effects and then also artifact or enchantment-based effects is kind of cool. But yeah, as you can see here as well, like just the value that a deck like D&T has just really quickly outweighs what we can do. Ooh, they might have 0 cards. This Barragoyf might turn into... No, I think I should stop them from getting that. I was going to say we could wait, but... This also means there's not a great attack for them. Interesting. So they must have a Outland Liberator. Oh, sorry, a Bowmaster, which I wouldn't mind. I think just because I'm at 9. Oh, wow. Solitude. Okay. Take that out. Okay. Well, they don't hit. Ah, from your graveyard. Wow, okay. I thought it was just the exiled cards. We do want to wasteland them. And then we do want to force the Overlord. But a tough spot for sure. Yeah. After the trigger. I just don't want them to be able to get any sort of value off it. Let's get Dryad Arbor out. I think like a Bowmaster would be the start here, or potentially a Swords for the Barragoyf. Ooze isn't too bad. We're just passing back. So we know they still have a Solitude. Of course, the Conqueror hits Ooze. Definitely a part about needing to get used to new cards. I don't really want them gaining extra advantage. I think here I'm kind of spinning my wheels. I don't have a great out to this. That could be done through one card. Yeah. I will quickly go to the bathroom. Have a think about sideboarding. Would you sideboard differently? Yeah, like I wonder if Containment Priest, even just as a flash 2/2 blocker against a lot of their like smaller creatures. But it's tough. There's nothing that I would take out too much. Yeah. I think we just run this back and hope to have a bit more plan about how we play out our turns. Like I wouldn't mind like Thought Season to 2-drop. This is just probably a little bit too awkward. Turn 1 Green Suns for Dryad Arbor. I really want to have actual removal in my opener. Okay. Keep this, bottom the Endurance. And then we hit our mana, which is nice. I really like having the 3 mana as well against this deck. We can use the Savannah and then use 1 for Lush, 1 for a Black Source. Happy to go for Bayou. Okay. Land is a little bit too tough. Especially on the play, really want to be adding to the board. Yes. I will get rid of this. And then we'll fetch for a Lush. That can go in the graveyard. Definitely don't want another land. Gotcha. But yeah, definitely a big part of Maverick is not having control over the top of the deck, so you can get in situations like this. But the Knight's doing a lot. Not great. Thanks, gamer. They're on 2 cards. Okay. Yeah. I don't think there's much we can do here. Yeah. Tough. It's where something like Sylvan Library can help, but even then, typically Library is maybe a one of, so being able to see it. I think just trying to get back from that sort of position is really tough when you're drawing 1 a turn. Something like Plague Engineer could be cool on the board if you expect TNT, especially to answer Cat just from going wide. But typically Bowmaster is enough if you see it. But yeah, even like on a solid draw for Maverick, just a really challenging matchup with a lot of our creatures just being either generic creatures or having to untap to really gain an advantage, whereas a lot of theirs are 2-for-1s most of the time. That even if you're dealing with a main threat, it's obviously either remove something or got something out of the deck. The Cub would have been kind of cool there as well. If you are starting to flood, then having access to Cub with Trample as well is pretty sweet. All right, here we go. On the draw. Cause 2/7. Okay, happy to keep this. Turn 1, mana acceleration. Turn 2, a few things. Pedal. 2. Huh, okay. Initiative. Haven't played against initiative in a while. I think we wait for them to potentially forge onto the Seasoned Dungeoneer. I also want to deal with this before they have white mana. Go for a Savannah, because if we draw Wasteland, we can still play Ignobled next turn. Oof. Interesting. Interesting. So they don't want to play a land. So they're obviously off by 1. I kind of want to play the Thalia here just to tax like a Lotus Petal. And if the Thalia takes out or gets taken out by removal, I don't mind that. I could hold up Bowmasters if I want to steal initiative, but I think here I'm happy just to see if Thalia does something. I feel like if we wait on her, she might just not really do a whole lot. But we do have Talon Gates as well, phase out the creature, attack with Thalia if we want. Okay. I mean, Solitude pitching Solitude to take out a Thalia is a pretty good advantage for us. I wouldn't say Thalia is that key in this matchup. I think here it's just going to be Ignobled, hold up, Bowmaster. I don't know if I have to fetch. I could have kept the fetch. I am going to fetch this turn, but I was just thinking if there's anything they find off this potentially, that I do just want to put a creature into play. Seasoned, Undermountain. Okay. Broadside. We will take out the menace creature. I think we're just holding up Talon Gates. Not great. I actually don't know if there's a way through. Like we're at 14. Broadsides gets rid of anything we play. Yeah. Tricky. Dismember's good. Teeg's an easy cut. Thalia most likely. We did see Chalice. Actually, we did see the One Ring as well. So I will bring in Ouphe and the Force of Vigors. Priest is interesting, but it only really hits the initiative. I guess it hits like Ephemerate if they play Ephemerate, but... Bowmasters I don't mind, but isn't great. I think this might just be it. Flash creatures are good. Yeah. But again, another creature deck that gets a lot of value for creatures that come in that, yeah, just a bit too tough to keep up with, which is kind of sad. It's kind of a realization of that this isn't 2013, but we can put up a fight. On the play. Look, it has swords. I don't mind. We'll see how this plays out. We can play the Dryad Arbor in the opening, potentially turn on Sheltered as of turn 2. Yikes. I think we're just playing a Windswept here to try to lush into a creature. But even then, they're getting the Undercity. I don't think we have an out. I think we just move on, unfortunately. But hey, thank you for the follow. GG. Hope you're enjoying the crush. But yeah, like 2 straight matchups where Doorkeeper Throw will be pretty good, which is kind of where the Containment Priests are. So a little bit slow against initiative, A card like Snuff Out, also quite good against the two decks that we just played against, which could be in the board, but yeah, just two decks I haven't really seen too much of recently. Big shout out to that Maverick Joe. Have a donation deck list coming up through him, which is really cool. Playing some new cards that I haven't really played around with yet, but there's one that I actually really like, and it's a 1 mana Vigilance, Death Touch, Reach creature. Need to find it. Which just sounds really annoying. Yeah, Dragon Sniper. I mean, pretty much a removal spell. And if they're dealing with it with like a bolt or a removal spell, I think you're pretty happy. But yeah, just so many keywords for one little creature. Okay. Pretty happy to keep this. A bit of interaction. It's like turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Ignoble and Thoughtseize, or turn 2 Bowmasters. I'm glad to hear it. Plains Pass. Very interesting. So if we lead on the Bayou, maybe not. I was going to say lead on Bayou because then we get to Noble off the top, but I also like that by leading on the Scrubland, you keep Bayou in hand for Noble in case of Wasteland. I think here it's the Narset that I care about the most. And then I think here we're just going to hold up the Bowmaster in response to the Teferi. Oh, they miss. Well, that's pretty good for us. I mean, can you imagine Wasteland here? Talon Gates. Okay. So we can Thoughtseize again, or we can build out the board. Hey XJ, welcome. We just got punished severely against black-white taxes, and then a very quick one with initiative. Just these creatures getting printed that give value straight away. What is this? I think happy to attack with 2. I'm thinking of like Wrath of the Skies as a reason to Thoughtseize here. But I actually don't mind just Noble Pass with Bowmasters up. Next turn we can Thoughtseize. 2 mana Stoneforge. Okay. Unlikely to have it main, yeah. You get Cryptic Coat. Interesting. We will Bowmaster again. Come on, Wasteland. One time. I like attacking with all because if they block 1, then we can Renegade Rallier 1 back to kill the Stoneforge. And we can also Thoughtseize first to make sure they can't interact with Renegade Rallier. Interesting. I think... what do we care about? We don't care about Teferi. We don't really care about the swords because we'll have 2 Bowmasters. The back to basics would hit them pretty hard. So I just want to get a basic off this. It could just be the coat. No. It might just be a swords. fetch for a basic. Tap like this. Renegade Rallier. Trigger. Get back Bowmasters. Trigger. Kill Stoneforge. Yeah, okay. That is fair. Carpets are nice. We did see Stoneforge. Maybe just a force wouldn't be too bad. I don't mind going down on 1 knight, 1 endurance, and maybe just 1 creature. Knowing they have back to basics, I might keep both ignobles because of black mana. That's pretty much it. Sheltered, Thalia Orc. Yeah. They might bring in extra creatures like Containment Priest, so potentially the full number of force are good. Mana are a little bit tough here, so we will mulligan this. Mana pretty good here, so we'll keep this. And I think just to have interaction with them, we'll bottom the Karakas, and then we can get Scrubland off the Verdant to have access to all colors. Hey Glitch, thanks for the follow. Hope you're well. Let me know where you're from. If you play Legacy, what you play in Legacy. So we have swords for Stoneforge, so I'm not too scared of a turn 2 play. So I think I'm happy building up my mana. But if they have swords, then that's a pretty good turn for them. So I could potentially just lead on Thoughtseize. Just see what's going on. That might also give us some leeway into, do we need to Wasteland? And there's the Stoneforge. So they have a force currently. So I could just take the Stoneforge. I don't mind that. Give us time to build out. East Coast of the States, very cool. I've heard East Coast has a pretty nice time when it comes to Legacy and Eternal. I think I will just take out the Stoneforge. Like, the Teferi's a little bit annoying. I could just take the Force as well. Yeah. I'm happy to take their plan. It's tough because even if we take the Force or one of the blue cards, and they obviously still have access to it. I haven't looked... I've never played Final Fantasy. And I've never looked at the cards yet. I've seen little things, like I saw that Snuff Out gets a reprint, which is fantastic. But I do need to have a solid look, because I'm sure there's cards in there that will be applicable to Legacy. And even if I'm not playing them myself, I should definitely be weary of what could be coming across the table from me. I don't mind here just Forest Ignoble Pass. I wonder if they'll get a archive, which is not greedy, but it's nice that it turns on the Wasteland. Okay. They're obviously wary of Wasteland and potentially just want to be able to draw into basics. Okay, we can dismiss all this. What about you? Have you caught any cards that might break Legacy? Or they're just are quite good in terms of value? Surely there's one. Surely there's one card that's just going to be really good, really powerful. Here, I'm happy to take them back on mana. We're getting Stoneforge Mystic 2. I did see that card. I don't believe it works the way that I thought it would work with pre-formal wear. I thought you might get an additional trigger. Oh, they miss a land drop. So I think here, what we want to do is just play... Oh, okay. Because I'm Thoughtseizing this turn and not Endurancing, I'm going to play the Windswept. Because if they play Teferi and tick down, we have Dryad Arbor to finish it off. I honestly don't mind just taking the Teferi here. It does replace itself pretty much. But you do get 2 searches. Oh, that's cool. Okay. I'm into that. Lush. I think Green Suns here would be fantastic. Nice. If you own the domain, you just get to do this sometimes. We still know about Force of Will. Interesting. I don't think next turn there'll be Snapcasting Mage to Brainstorm. I think they'll just hold up Snap. So I actually don't mind just probably upkeep, Endurance them, see if it baits out the swords. Happy to attack first. I will play a land. There's a world where I just want to Green Suns for 5 and see if... I assume they're going to hit Green Suns anyway. I don't need another black source here. I don't think they're on days. I don't think they'll have Spell Pierce. But I think just making them think about a Green Suns for 4. Like, maybe they just think, oh, like, a creature. I have swords. I don't need to hit this, but obviously Grist is pretty good. They pitch Snap. I mean, Jace is a little scary. Back to basics. We do have Force of Vigor. Ah, did they... I feel like they still have Teferi. It's kind of good. It's good in 2 ways, because if they play Teferi bounce this, we have Dryad Arbor just to get rid of it, even though Dryad Arbor still gets hit by Back to Basics. Bounce. I could try to go for Dryad Arbor here just to kill the Jace if we draw an Exalted Creature. But it only gets 1 hit, so... Okay, that's pretty interesting. I think we just try to do this now before they even draw a card. But only drawing 1 card here a turn is pretty tough. My best out to Jace is going to be Green Suns for Grist with access to Dryad Arbor. We've already used Lush as well. Maybe they got rid of Teferi. Maybe in the Brainstorm. So they are playing red. I have 4 cards including Jace. So here I think we get Dryad Arbor. Happy to attack Narset because then she actually leaves if they want to use her. Okay. Probably the swords. I could have kept the swords as well. Sorry, the Thoughtseize the turn I play a threat. But I think here it might just be a little bit too tough. We should just take the time. Yeah. I don't like, maybe just extra creatures. Maybe the extra Hierarch, like it does play around back basics a little bit and allows us to attack into Teferi. I could see A swords coming out. I guess Sheltered is another way to deal with Planeswalkers, but a lot of the time they're dealing with our creatures as well. Maybe, yeah, we do have Carpet, so maybe like the bird can go and I want the Exalted Creatures. Dismember should have hit Planeswalkers. It should give target creature -5/-5 and target Planeswalker -5 loyalty. That's how they printed this year. I'm going to take out a Wasteland. I think that's fair, seeing how many basics they have access to. I think that's it. All right. Okay. Turn 2 Grist is kind of cool. We will just go for Savannah here, I believe. We have the Outland Liberator in case of back to basics. This is kind of nice because we get to go Carpet into Grist. That was a quick shuffle as well. Also, small thing for people who might not be aware is that Carpet goes on each of your main phases. So if you don't use it in your first main phase, it'll trigger in your second. So we'll use it in the second main phase to make black. And then we'll play a land and we will fetch for our basic. That I'm happy to grab. Play the Grist. They did think about force on this, I believe, so they probably want to force this. Okay. Force, pitch, force. Caldra. Alright, well now I do need to find a removal. Let's go with white. Play Peatland, draw. Sadly, no swords, no Thoughtseize. Wow, okay. Interesting. Giving us a full turn. Hey Eureka, welcome. 1 second. there we go. Nice. I will target me. I actually want the Grist back. But sadly, I don't think we have too much here. Oh, like Thoughtseize is so good. Let's just make black. I mean, now we get to deal with the Caldra, which is really nice. I can't believe they didn't put it into play. Because now we can deal with the Batterskull with the Liberator. Play the Lush. Trigger. Green Suns is great because we just put the Grist back. We get to attack with Endurance. Keep the Liberator back. We don't want to get removed by like swords before we actually deal with the Batterskull. Or the yeah. Thankfully, back to basics we don't really care about. So they have Batterskull, Teferi, and this. Nice. Happy to attack. It is a 4/5, so even if they have like removal for Liberator put in Batterskull, it's not a great block. Hey Echo, welcome. Hope you're well. Interesting. I don't think we care about the code. We can't deal with it right now anyway, because of the fetch land. It's only attacking for 3, so we can allow this. The question is, do they cast anything? It's a little bit awkward because, well, now the Liberator flips. They return it. That's fine. A little bit of fodder. That is fine. We will make a Grist token. Green Suns. We'll play the Dryad Arbor, I think. And then pass back. And if they put in Cloak here, then I think we just deal with it, because the Batterskull is kind of answered by the insects. Yeah. But something like Wrath of the Skies here would be really good. They only attack with 1, which is really interesting, because if they attack with both, then I think we just chump. But here, I think we put 3 creatures in front. Yeah, Bantlome looks really fun. Especially Lavinia. I mean, Lavinia seems like a pretty nice result of playtesting. Ooh, Sheltered's pretty sweet. Okay. So what if we just attack with the endurance first? Interesting, they're going to block and then put in Batterskull. I thought they might have just put in Batterskull and blocked with the Germ to gain 4 life, and then they have the Batterskull in play. Because now we might get to take out both. We know these 3 cards. Just in case they have a swords, I think we want to think about what we put this on. The token I'm probably going to throw away to kill. So I kind of like putting it on the ignobled. And then I think we take out the cloak and then we... just so tough. Could also be the Batterskull. And then tick up on the Grist. I don't mind that. Wasteland goes to the bin, that's fine. It's tricky knowing about the prismatic and like say a bounce effect off the Teferi, but interesting, they're going to ponder instead of going for prismatic and Teferi, unless they find a land, but they shuffled. I guess the ward is pretty relevant. Attack Grist. Block, block. Jace is fine. Teferi doesn't do it because we get the sheltered back. This is fine. Now they get the Batterskull. Prismatic was revealed from their morph. Creature? Ooze. I think here we just want to tick up the Grist. I could tick down attack, but then they just play... probably Jace or Teferi bounce. I think the Ooze just being bigger is better. I mean, the Ooze can just become a 5/5, right? 1, 2, 3. Eat Stoneforge. Eat Stoneforge. Eat. Is Cryptic Code? No. Okay, let's just go after the endurance. No swords? Wow. Teferi's fine. Sure. I guess they buy a little bit of time with life gain. But even here we get to do pretty well. Yes. I'm going to play the Ooze like this, using a white, and then we can use the extra green just to eat something now. There isn't really a big hit, maybe just the Dryad Arbor. And then we get to attack Teferi, attack them. Teferi down, tick up the Grist. We get to play the Verdant in case we want the extra source of mana. Narset's fine. Narset can only really find swords. Dress down. We actually have a win. Nice. Look at that. Who would have thought? Jeskai Stoneblade against Maverick. 2025 stream. Let's go. Yeah, it's tough with the Sheltered because they get it back. But I thought because we had a big enough creature, yeah. I just like that the Sheltered as well made the Ignoble a little bit of a bigger creature on attacks. But it's tough because I don't really want to I don't want to go all in on the endurance. Yes, but if they remove this Sheltered, then they still get the Batterskull back. Correct? But yeah, definitely some choices there. Yeah, remove the Germ. Yeah, maybe removing the Germ was better. Pretty sweet hand. This is like just a classic Maverick hand with a little bit of 2025 kicked in. Yeah, I think removing the Germ is correct. Yeah. For some reason, I was just thinking about them having the Batterskull in play and attaching it to a creature. But our plan for all of that was to just remove it anyway, so... Okay. Happy to go for Savannah into Ignoble. Street Race is interesting. That's either Death Shadow or they're like Doomsday and they were very close to just going off. But I'm going to put them in... Well, now with the Undercity Sewers, I'm not too sure. Okay, Doomsday. Look, I would have been probably put like, yeah, pretty close to... Oh, they're just going to pass back? That's interesting. So here we get Thalia plus Wasteland. They didn't have days before. They might still have Force. They do. Force Pitch Brainstorm. I do want to take them off just natural 3 mana. But I think we can do it in their turn, just in case they have something weird. Okay. Get rid of the sea, because if they daze the sewers, at least it comes in tapped. Tifa Scape. I don't know what that is, but let me know what it is. Doomsday. Okay. I wonder if we can get there fast enough with Cub. Yes. I believe it just gets there with Scale Up. I think Scale Up and a Fetch. Anything Pact Negation. But they don't go off this turn, which is nice. Interesting. Oh, okay. So what if we go Cub, land, trigger. But it's tapped. I think that, yeah, I think because we're attacking next turn, I should just put it all on the Cub. That was, yeah, sorry, that was just obviously incorrect. I thought we'd attack this turn and then... Well, I guess we get to... Yeah, it should have gone all on the Cub. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. We like the Ouphe. We like the Deafening Silences. Not a big fan of Teeg. Liberator. Most swords, especially with Thoughtseize. Carpet's kind of nice if we're going down on mana dorks, just because it allows us to play out like the Wasteland role a little bit easier. Teeg might be annoying for them. It really only hits Force. Deep Analysis, yeah. It might just be 2 swords. Just in case they bring in something. A 1 lander. With obviously a lot of stuff, but... I think there's a better 6. And this is better, but the mana sadly just isn't there. Okay. We have a lot of hate bears. Keep bottom the Ouphe because we can find it, and then bottom a Thalia. And then I think this is Scrubland, so I think we're just going Forest Dryad Arbor. But yeah, maybe Maybe it's a case of being a matchup we just have to mull to 4 and find like a Thoughtseize or a... Deafening Silence. But typically just doesn't matter, sadly. Tough with this side as well, because we can't obviously draw into Wasteland and then maybe have Thoughtseize and Wasteland. Did they bring in any creatures? They brought in Fatal Push. That's it. I think Thalia here might have the bigger input. Scrub. Tough. Yeah, because even if we Bowmaster, they can just draw in response. Brutal. Well, we can try to do better than last stream and finish 2-3 on the play, which is nice. And a respectable hand. Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Noble. Thoughtseize on the play seems really nice. Just having that access to knowing how to move around our turns. Maybe we need to keep a Green Suns for the endurance. Or like always have a green card in hand or have access to 3 or 4 mana. Alright. We'll go for Bayou as it also turns on green mana. It's between the Illusionist and the Shuko. I like that the Shuko we have a bit of an answer to. The Cephalid we have more answers to though. Interesting. I do like that by taking Shuko, we turn off just Shuko into Cephalid, which means we can't next turn go for... Noble. Yeah, it's tough, but I think it's Shuko just because we have less interaction with it, and it on the field is just, it means we have to play a lot of, play around it a lot. I'm happy to keep the fetch for a Lush. Ooze is also quite nice here. Okay. I think I like just getting Ooze on the field. Especially having the Nadu tweet potentially. There's the Tundra. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So we do get to eat the Dread Return target. I'm also going to target the Cephalid here because if it mills something awkwardly that we can eat, then that's pretty great. No. Okay. Interesting. So they're now going to go off. Ah, maybe they have Oracle in hand. Well, there's 3 forces, or there's the 4th force. Okay, so they have no Force of Wills, which is nice. But then, oh no, they can't. They can't mill themselves here, which is nice. Okay, Crisis 1 averted. Ooh, that's interesting. Green Suns. It might just be Grist. Grist, get rid of the nomads, get rid of the noble. Maybe I'm supposed to play the plains and then use that. But then I lose the Grist. But does that matter? I think we just tick up and I think we just pass with Scoos open. It does open up like land Nadu, but yeah. Okay. Get rid of the insect, get rid of the nomads. And then I can't attack you because they could make a creature. Get rid of the saga. I don't have to eat right now. File's fine. Wow, no attacks. I thought they would have tried to kill the Grist. I guess it's kind of awkward for them. I want to keep the Liberator as well for Renegade Rallier. Okay. They are at 19 with no reach on our end, so I think they could just take this, which they do. So now they have access to green mana. There's Nadu. But no follow-up, which is pretty great. Okay. I think we still take care of the Nadu here. Two, three, four, five. So if I actually get rid of a... I was going to say if I get rid of a creature here, that does change things. We'll play the Knight out first. Because if that gets forced, that's pretty good for us. Okay. Did I tick down but not use it? Oh no. Wow, that's huge. I think I've just like kind of fizzled my own grist. Alright, that's a challenge. Wow. Huge. I didn't know you could do that. Maybe I should have. Tough, yeah. Sometimes with MTGO, you just got to make sure you read everything and know how things are working, because I thought their Grist, I was like taking back the Grist activation. Can see more of their deck. Okay, we've seen enough of their deck. I like the carpet. Containment Priest does something. Dismember does something. Ouphe does something. Force of Vigor does something. Teeg. Thalia's not the greatest, but it does slow them down a little bit. Birds. Noble. Probably a knight or two. Maybe it's more than one knight. I do like Wasteland, especially in the 3-color build of theirs. It could just be a small trim. Like this. Just not really where you want to be. 5 lands, one being a spell, but I think there's better openers, and this is probably it. Keep this bottom the Force, seeing that we have the Outland. Go for Bayou, which opens up all our colors. Okay. A little bit awkward. No white now for Sheltered either. I have missed the Once Upon a Times a little bit this league, which is obviously where the Thoughtseizers are. So maybe that's definitely a consideration. Island Brainstorm. Interesting. And they've played a land as well. Maybe they really want to get rid of the Liberator. Okay. I can only hope they play a Saga and we can wasteland it before they get to tap it for mana. That's probably best case here. Interesting. I think I'm happy to untap. See what we draw. Attack trigger. They draw a card. Take out the Tundra, play another Wasteland. I feel like that Tundra was bait. Okay. Thalia's not the worst here, as it does stop Dread Return. If they only have 3 mana. And in case we want to use the Trap Breaker, we can put the Sheltered on the Thalia. But this could just be Nadu Nomad. Have a great weekend. Tough. Fan of the channel, which is nice, but yeah, I think we just don't really have what it takes. Tough. Really tricky. We saw Thoughtseize a little bit and it was nice, but I feel like we just didn't really have the follow-up that we wanted with Thoughtseize. Really want like Thoughtseize into like a really good 2-drop. Maybe that's more Cubs. Maybe just like trying to close out the games quicker is where we want to be. Obviously, the deck is just a little bit, yeah, as of late, feeling a little bit historic. It's probably the best way to put it. But yeah, I feel like 2-for-1s is really where I want to start finding some value, but it's becoming really tough to find 2-for-1s in a deck like this. Like maybe it's Bowmaster or Grist being able to deal with a creature and then still be around, but yeah, obviously when like Nadu's in the format, that's obviously a great card to move towards. But yeah, tricky one. A big thank you to all of you for coming and watching. I'll be back tomorrow, probably with a different list, just to try things out, keep things fresh. But yeah, a huge thank you to the new followers. Make Dark Mav great again. Yeah, sadly, again, like as much as I love Dark Confidant, has to untap, which just is a pretty big no. I'm going to see who else is streaming and send you over their way. It looks like no one. But that's all good. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.